Hello everyone. Welcome to today's video. In this session, we're going to create a beautiful digital clock using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's going to be a fun and simple project, so grab your editor and follow along as we code together from start to finish. Let's dive right in. First, navigate to your project location and create a new folder for your project. Let's call it Digital Clock. Once the folder is created, open it and launch Visual Studio Code. You can do this by right-clicking the folder and selecting Open with Code, or by opening Visual Studio Code, going to File Open Folder, and selecting your new digital clock folder. With everything set up, you're ready to dive into coding. Next, let's create the very first file for our project. Inside the digital clock folder, add a new file and name it index.html. This will be the starting point for building your project. Open the index.html file, and inside it, type an exclamation mark and hit enter. This will generate a common base template for your HTML code automatically. With the basic structure in place, you're ready to start coding with me. Let's get started. To make our development process more engaging, let's set up real-time browser preview. This allows you to see your changes instantly as you code. If you're using Visual Studio Code, install the Live Server extension. Once installed, right-click on your index.html file and select Open with Live Server. This will open your project in the browser, giving you a real-time preview of your work. Now, let's dive into the actual development. Let's start by setting the title of our web page. Inside the head section of your index.html file, locate the title tag and update it to say Digital Clock. This will set the title of your browser tab to Digital Clock and make your project feel more personalized. Inside the body section of your index.html file, let's create a structure to display the weekdays. Start by adding a div with the class clock. Inside this, create another div with the class weekdays. Then, inside the weekdays div, create 7 span elements. Type sun inside the first span to represent Sunday, and repeat this process for all 7 days of the week, updating the names to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday respectively. Save the file and check the preview in your browser. Looks nice, doesn't it? Now, let's add more structure to our digital clock. Inside the div with class clock, create another div with the class time display. Within this, add a span element with the class format and set its content to AM for now. Next, create another div with the class time inside the time display div. Inside this div, add span elements to display the clock's time components like hours, minutes, and seconds. Finally, outside the time display div, create another div with the class date display. Inside this div, add a span element to display the date, and set it to January 1st, 2025 for now. Now our HTML code is almost done. Now let's add some CSS to our digital clock. For that, first, create a new file in your project directory and name it styles.css. Before we start coding the CSS, let's link this file to your index.html page. This links the CSS file to your HTML, ensuring the styles are applied. Now, open the styles.css file, and let's start styling your digital clock together. For the all elements, let's add common CSS using universal selector. Let's set margin to 0, padding to 0 and box sizing to border box. For the body, let's set display into flex, justify content to center, align items center, minimum height to 100% of view height and also background color to #1e1e1e. This give us to dark theme to our project. And for the clock div, let's give width to 80% from screen, padding to 40 pixels. Let's set background color to black and let's add border with 3 pixels and make it solid and give it to color this beautiful green. Also let's add border radius to 10 pixels, great. For the weekdays div, let's give font size to 24 pixels and, oh, where is clock? Okay, let's give color to this, font color to #3C3D37, great, weekdays are back. Then let's give font weight to 900 to make it much bolder and, width to 100%, margin bottom to 10 pixels and also text align center, perfect. For the span elements inside the weekdays div, let's set the padding to 0, 10 pixels and opacity to 0.5. For style our clock with clear preview, let's set our clock background into light color, great. Now let's add the CSS for the time display div, let's set display to flex, justify content center, and font color to our beautiful green. For the time D inside the time display div, let's add font size to 120 pixels, display flex, justify content center, wow, and letter spacing to 3 pixels, perfect. For the seconds span, let's add some additional CSS, let's make font size to 50 pixels and margin top to 55 pixels. Also, let's add some more CSS on .2 span, let's make it font size to 60 pixels, margin top to 50 pixels and margin left to 10 pixels. Let's add CSS on our format span as well, let's make it font size to 45 pixels, margin top to 12 pixels, margin left to 320 pixels and also position to absolute, fantastic. Now let's style our date display div, let's add text align to center, font size to 40 pixels, font weight to 400, margin top to 20 pixels and also font color to our beautiful green. Nice. Then let's make our clock background color back to black, perfect. Now, let's make some animation on our timer dots, let's add animation, name it as blinker, duration 1 second, make it linear and also infinite, then let's set keyframes to blinker. Let's set it 25% with opacity 0. Perfect. Now let's develop JavaScript part for our digital clock to display correct time, date, and the week's days dynamically. Let's navigate to our file directory and then create a new file and name it as script.js. Now let's link our JavaScript file for our HTML code before starting coding. Nice. Then navigate to script.js file and start coding with me. First let's create a function called digital clock, then create a variable called date function and assign a new date object to it. Then create variable called day, and get day from date function object by calling getDay method. Likewise create variables for hours, minutes, and seconds. Also create a variable called time format and initialize as AM. Now define the logic for time format, handle appearance of AM and PM, and convert midnight 0 clock as 12, then convert all 24 formatted hours in the 12 format. And handle 2-digit numbers add 0 to in front to 1 to 9 digits, also likewise handle minutes as well as seconds. Now code this for line to update dynamically time on our HTML page using their class names in elements. Now let's set an active status for the current weekday. This will help us to highlight current weekday from the weekdays list in our web page. Follow with me. After that, let's define the logic to update date, month, and year in our web page. And lastly, let's call our digital clock function, and we add 1000 milliseconds of time delays to call our function to each and every 1 second to update automatically our digital clock in web page in real time. That's it, let's save the file and see. Wow, that's fantastic. Okay, now we need to handle active status in our weekdays. For that, go to CSS file and code with me. Let's add CSS to span elements of the weekdays D if it is active. Let's make opacity into 1 and font color into our beautiful green. Nice. Look how our current weekday is highlighted on the R page. Finally, let's add a beautiful text font on our digital clock. This font is named Digital 7 Mono, and before use to this font family we needed link this to our HTML page. Then navigate to the CSS file and updated the font family like this, save the files and have a look how fantastic our digital clock is. So, that's it for today's video. I hope you had as much fun creating this digital clock as I did. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, so you never miss out on our next coding adventure. Thanks for watching, and happy coding. See you in the next one.